Max Laughlin, once heralded as the world's most brilliant young prodigy, captivated the globe with his mind-blowing theories in science and technology. His audacious ideas about CERN and the creation of a free energy device sent shockwaves through the scientific community, capturing the imagination of millions. But just as the world was beginning to comprehend the magnitude of his genius, Max vanished, without a trace. His sudden disappearance ignited a firestorm of speculation, leaving scientists and fans alike baffled and desperate for answers. After what felt like an eternity, Max reappeared, but his return only deepened the enigma. What force could have torn him away so abruptly? What unimaginable adventures had he embarked upon during his mysterious absence? Whispers of dark secrets spread like wildfire. Some claimed that Max had delved into forbidden realms of science, conducting clandestine experiments in hidden laboratories far from prying eyes. Others murmured that he had been abducted by shadowy organizations, eager to harness his unparalleled intellect for their own sinister agendas. And then there were those who wondered if the crushing weight of his genius had driven him to flee from the world that both adored and burdened him. The void of clear information only fueled the flames of speculation, as theories about Max's enigmatic disappearance and reappearance spiraled into the realm of the extraordinary. Tension increases when the newest statements of Max Laughlin right after his return are aimed directly at CERN. One of his most famous claims is that the Large Hadron Collider, also known as LHC, a particle accelerator located at CERN in Switzerland, accidentally destroyed our universe and created a parallel universe where we now live. According to Laughlin, the events that we are experiencing in this universe are a result of this catastrophic event, and the inconsistencies and strange occurrences in our world can be explained by the fact that we are living in a different reality. This claim is rooted in the idea of the multiverse, a concept in theoretical physics that suggests the existence of multiple, perhaps infinite, universes that exist alongside our own. To understand why physicists assert that a multiverse ought to exist, you first have to understand a few facts about the universe that we observe. One fact is that we have a boundary to the part of the universe that we can access, a boundary in time. The universe as we can see it began some 13.8 billion years ago in an event known as the Hot Big Bang, where the universe was hot, dense, filled with matter and radiation, and was expanding, cooling, and gravitating from that initial state. The farther we look back in space, the farther we wind up looking back in time, all the way to the boundary of the Hot Big Bang, 13.8 billion years ago in time, and 46.1 billion light-years away in space. However, you can't go back to arbitrarily early times, because if the universe had exceeded a certain temperature and density, it would have properties we specifically observe it not to have. Instead, observations are far more consistent with the notion that the Hot Big Bang was preceded and set up by a period of cosmic inflation, which stretched the universe's curvature so that it would be indistinguishable from flat, inflated away any problematic, unobserved, high-energy relics predicted to form at high temperatures, gave the universe the same energy density everywhere with quantum fluctuations, which occur during inflation, superimposed atop that uniform energy background. When inflation comes to an end, we get a hot big bang with the necessary properties to reproduce the observable universe. Typically, we like to visualize inflation as a simple field. It has certain properties that affect the space over which the field is present. As long as the field remains in this inflationary state, where the fabric of space has a large energy inherent to it, space will expand relentlessly and exponentially, so that the distance between any 2 points successively doubles with each passing interval of time. As long as the field remains in this inflationary state, inflation continues, stretching the fabric of space, diluting everything in it until the field decays. At that moment, inflation ends. As the energy gets converted into matter and radiation, the universe heats up to a very high, but not arbitrarily high temperature, signifying the beginning of the hot Big Bang. However, in actuality, we know that whatever field drives inflation is overwhelmingly likely to be quantum in nature. That means, as inflation goes on, there's a certain probability that the field will roll into the valley where inflation ends, a certain probability that it won't and inflation will continue, and even a certain probability that the field will roll in the wrong direction, taking us farther away from inflation's end. And because the inflating universe continuously creates new space, all of these possibilities can occur simultaneously in different regions of the inflating universe. This sets up a fascinating scenario to consider. As long as inflation occurred in the past, which we have copious evidence that it did based on what's imprinted in our universe, it implies the existence of a multiverse. What's going on is the following. Inflation occurs, stretching the universe and creating new space. In some places, the field rolls into the valley, bringing inflation to an end. This results in the creation of hot Big Bangs in those regions, what we might call a universe. In between those universes is more inflating space, where inflation doesn't end but continues on. New space gets created as the universe expands. In other places, the field rolls into the valley, bringing inflation to an end there with more hot Big Bangs and more universes. Meanwhile, inflation continues in the regions where it didn't end, creating more space, and so on. Fascinatingly, it's fairly easy to show that if you want to create a scenario where we get enough inflation to set up the hot Big Bang with the properties we observe, you will always get a multiverse, one where independent, disconnected universes are always being born, forever separated from one another by space that continues to inflate eternally, while new universes and new hot Big Bangs continue to spawn. As long as we've got this part of the story correct, and the evidence overwhelmingly indicates that we have, the existence of a multiverse is predicted by today's best science. Now, this is where we have to enter into speculative territory. We know that inflation must occur at an energy scale that's significantly below the Planck energy scale. Otherwise, we would see signals in our universe that don't exist. However, what we don't know is supremely important. We don't know how inflation began or whether it even had a beginning. It's possible that inflation was the default state of the universe that was happening eternally, until it ended in our region of space and our universe was spawned. We don't know whether there are any entangled properties between these different universes within the multiverse. We don't know whether all of the universes that are spawned have the same physical laws and fundamental constants, or whether there are dynamics that govern these laws and constants that somehow get set, either during inflation or the final transition to the hot Big Bang. Additionally, we have no idea how to quantify the probabilities of these different outcomes, what cosmologists working on it call the measure problem. These universes are predicted to exist, but we don't know how many of them there are, whether or how they're related, and what similarities or differences they have relative to our own universe. However, the expectation, based on what we can measure within our own universe and what we can calculate based on the quantum properties that the known particles and fields possess, is that the laws and constants should be the same between universes, but the specific initial conditions should be different. What does this mean? It means that the overall properties of each universe should be the same, because they had a common origin, from the end of the same inflationary field. That means each universe should be born with the same average energy density, the same laws, the same symmetries, the same conserved quantities and conservation laws, the same standard model, the same rules of general relativity, and many other properties. The big differences simply should come in the form of quantum fluctuations that get superimposed atop this uniform background, the one part in 30,000 imperfections that provided the seeds of cosmic structure in our universe. These should be random and on all scales, and our universe should be just one of an extraordinarily large set of possible outcomes. And yet, if you have enough of these universes that spring into existence, there should eventually be one that comes along with the exact same initial properties as our own. Remember that everything that exists in our universe is finite. There are a finite number of particles, a finite amount of energy, a finite amount of time over which interactions between quanta can occur, and a finite number of possible outcomes. These numbers are astronomically large, but they are not infinite. It may or may not be the same story when it comes to the number of universes that are spawned by inflation. If inflation has proceeded for a finite amount of time, then the number of universes we get increases exponentially with time, but always remains finite. If inflation has gone on for an infinite amount of time, then the number of universes must be infinite, and all allowable possibilities must have occurred in some universe. If inflation has gone on for only a finite amount of time, we can strongly say that, based on how the number of universes increases with time versus how the number of possible outcomes within a single universe increases with time, there are no parallel universes equivalent to our own within the multiverse. When we talk about the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, a finite number of universes is insufficient to hold all of the possible outcomes. We require an infinity of worlds. This itself requires an infinite duration to inflation to make a parallel universe identical to our own a possibility. But if inflation has gone on for an infinite amount of time, then the existence of identical parallel universes isn't just possible, but mandatory. No matter how large a finite number gets, even if it tends towards infinity over time, it will never become infinite after a finite amount of time. Therefore, even though there are an astronomical number of possible outcomes that could have occurred, including quantum interactions with a continuous set of allowable outcomes, an infinite number of parallel universes must contain them all. While theoretical physics suggest that the existence of a multiverse is all but inevitable, Max Laughlin's interpretation of it as a consequence of the LHC's experiments. The concept of the LHC emerged from the desire to explore fundamental questions about the universe. CERN's earlier accelerators, such as the Large Electron Positron Collider, or LEP, had already provided a wealth of information about particle physics, but they also had limitations in terms of energy and scale. The LHC was conceived as a solution to these limitations, designed to achieve unprecedented collision energies and probe deeper into the subatomic realm. Construction of the LHC began in 1998 and involved the collaboration of thousands of scientists, engineers, and technicians from around the world. The collider consists of a 27-kilometer ring of superconducting magnets and detectors buried underground. It accelerates protons and heavy ions to near the speed of light before colliding them, allowing scientists to study the resulting high-energy interactions. Arguably, the LHC's most celebrated achievement is the discovery of the Higgs boson, a particle predicted by the Standard Model of particle physics. The Higgs boson is associated with the Higgs field, which gives other fundamental particles their mass. The existence of the Higgs boson had been theorized for decades, but it remained elusive until the LHC's experiments provided the evidence needed to confirm its existence. In July 2012, CERN announced the discovery of a particle consistent with the Higgs boson. This discovery was a monumental breakthrough, leading to the awarding of the Nobel Prize in Physics in 2013 to François Englert and Peter Higgs, whose theoretical work had predicted the particle's existence. The discovery not only confirmed a key component of the Standard Model, but also opened new avenues for research into the fundamental nature of mass and the universe. Besides that, the LHC has also made significant contributions to our understanding of quantum chromodynamics, also known as QCD, the theory that describes the strong force, one of the four fundamental forces in nature. QCD explains how quarks, the building blocks of protons and neutrons, interact via the exchange of gluons. Experiments at the LHC have provided detailed insights into the behavior of quark-gluon plasma, a state of matter that existed just after the Big Bang. By studying the collisions of heavy ions, scientists have been able to recreate conditions similar to those in the early universe. This research has provided valuable information about the properties of QCD and the behavior of matter under extreme conditions. Additionally, the LHC has explored other theories beyond the standard model, such as extra dimensions and string theory. Although no direct evidence for these theories has yet been found, the collider's high-energy collisions have provided valuable constraints on their possible parameters, shaping the direction of future theoretical research. While the LHC's success has set the stage for future advancements in particle physics, it also causes conflicting views. The debate became intense as many, including Max Laughlin, suggest that CERN, an organization that studies physics phenomena, is cast as potentially causing the Mandela effect. The term Mandela effect was coined by Fiona Broome, a self-described paranormal consultant, after she realized that she, along with many others, vividly remembered Nelson Mandela dying in a South African prison in the 1980s. In reality, Mandela was released from prison in 1990 and went on to become South Africa's president from 1994 to 1999, living until 2013. Broome's realization led her to create a website in 2009 where people could share similar experiences of collective false memories. The site quickly gained popularity, and the term Mandela effect was born. And of course, the Mandela effect is not limited to memories of Nelson Mandela. Numerous other examples have emerged over the years, some of which have become widely recognized and discussed. For instance, the Berenstain Bears. Many people remember the beloved children's book series being spelled as Berenstein Bears, with an E instead of Berenstain Bears with an A. This discrepancy has led to widespread debate and speculation, with some suggesting that the incorrect spelling is evidence of parallel universes or alternate realities. Another case, a significant number of people recall the Monopoly board game's mascot, Rich Uncle Pennybags, wearing a monocle. However, the character has never worn a monocle, leading to widespread confusion and speculation about why so many people share this false memory. In the Star Wars franchise, many fans distinctly remember Darth Vader saying, "Luke, I am your father," in the movie The Empire Strikes Back. However, the actual line is, "No, I am your father." The misquote is so pervasive that it has become part of popular culture, despite being incorrect. Similarly, some fans of the Pokémon franchise remember Pikachu, the iconic character, having a black tip at the end of its tail. In reality, Pikachu's tail has always been solid yellow, with no black tip. This false memory has puzzled many fans who were certain about the black-tipped tail. You see, it is obvious that the Mandela effect has sparked various theories attempting to explain why so many people share the same false memories. These theories range from the scientific to the speculative, reflecting the complexity and mystery of the phenomenon. One of the most widely accepted explanations for the Mandela effect is the fallibility of human memory. Research has shown that memory is not a perfect recording of events, but rather a reconstructive process. When we recall a memory, we do not access a precise, unchanging record. Instead, we reconstruct the memory using fragments of information stored in our brains. This process can lead to errors, especially when memories are influenced by suggestion, social interactions, or prior knowledge. Confabulation is a psychological phenomenon where the brain fills in gaps in memory with fabricated or distorted information. This can occur without the individual realizing that the memory is inaccurate. In the case of the Mandela effect, confabulation could explain why large groups of people share the same false memory. The similarity in errors could result from shared cultural experiences, media influences, or social interactions that shape how memories are reconstructed. Another related explanation is the concept of false memory, where individuals recall events that did not occur or remember them differently from how they happened. False memories can be created or reinforced by the power of suggestion. When a person is exposed to incorrect information, such as a misquote, altered image, or misleading statement, their memory can be altered to incorporate that misinformation. The Mandela effect may be amplified by the internet and social media, where misinformation can spread rapidly and reach large audiences. When people encounter others who share their false memory, it reinforces their belief in the accuracy of the memory, leading to a collective false memory. A more speculative explanation for the Mandela effect involves the idea of parallel universes or alternate realities. According to this theory, the Mandela effect occurs because people are experiencing memories from alternate realities where events or details were different. Proponents of this theory suggest that these parallel universes occasionally bleed into our reality, causing discrepancies in memory. Quantum mechanics, a branch of physics that deals with the behavior of particles at the smallest scales, is sometimes invoked to support this idea. The concept of quantum superposition, where particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously, is used as a metaphor to suggest that reality itself may have multiple states or versions. While this theory is intriguing, it remains speculative and lacks empirical evidence. Another way to explain this weird phenomenon belongs to a notable theories of Laughlin involving time travel. He claims that time is not a linear progression from the past to the future, but rather a fluid construct that can be manipulated. According to Laughlin, this manipulation of time could explain phenomena such as déjà vu or the Mandela effect, where large groups of people remember events differently from how they are documented in history. He suggests that these occurrences could be evidence of shifts in time or parallel realities intersecting with our own. Laughlin's ideas often blend scientific concepts with speculative fiction, which is part of their appeal. However, they also blur the line between science and pseudoscience, leading to confusion among those who may not have a strong background in physics or critical thinking. The scientific community has largely dismissed Max Laughlin's claims as pseudoscience. Pseudoscience refers to ideas, beliefs, or practices that are presented as scientific but lack empirical evidence and are not based on the scientific method. While Laughlin's ideas are intriguing and thought-provoking, they do not meet the rigorous standards required for scientific validation. One of the primary criticisms of Laughlin's theories is that they are not testable or falsifiable. For a theory to be scientifically valid, it must make predictions that can be tested through experimentation or observation. If the predictions do not hold true, the theory must be revised or discarded. Laughlin's claims, such as the idea that the LHC created a parallel universe, cannot be tested in this way, making them speculative rather than scientific. Moreover, Laughlin's ideas often misinterpret or oversimplify complex scientific concepts. For example, the multiverse theory is still highly theoretical and not universally accepted within the scientific community. It is a subject of debate and ongoing research, with many scientists questioning whether it can ever be empirically proven. Laughlin's assertion that we are living in a parallel universe created by the LHC is a dramatic leap that is not supported by current scientific understanding. Despite the lack of scientific support, Max Laughlin's ideas have resonated with a significant audience. There are several reasons for this. First, his theories tap into the human fascination with the unknown and the mysterious. Concepts like the multiverse, time travel, and alternate realities have long been popular in science fiction, and they ignite the imagination. People are naturally drawn to ideas that challenge the status quo and offer new perspectives on the world. Second, Laughlin's youth and apparent intelligence make him a compelling figure. The idea of a young prodigy uncovering the secrets of the universe is appealing, especially in a culture that celebrates youth and innovation. His ability to articulate complex ideas in a way that is accessible to the general public has further enhanced his appeal. Third, in an age of widespread misinformation and skepticism toward established institutions, many people are more inclined to believe in alternative explanations for the nature of reality. This skepticism can lead to a rejection of mainstream science in favor of more speculative, unverified ideas. Laughlin's theories, while not scientifically grounded, offer an alternative narrative that some find more appealing than the often complex and nuanced explanations provided by the scientific community. Faced with public pressure, CERN spoke out to deny the accusations from Max Laughlin. At the same time, they also stated that the LHC is currently undergoing its second major upgrade phase, the High Luminosity LHC, or HL-LHC project. Scheduled for completion by the late 2020s, the HL-LHC aims to boost the collider's performance by increasing its luminosity by a factor of 10. Luminosity, a measure of collision rate, is crucial for detecting rare particle interactions. The HL-LHC will incorporate several key enhancements, including high-field superconducting magnets, beam collimators and instrumentation, and data processing capabilities. These upgrades are expected to address several key scientific questions. The HL-LHC will provide deeper insights into the Higgs boson, potentially revealing new phenomena and refining our understanding of mass generation. It will also enhance the search for dark matter candidates and explore the reasons behind the matter-antimatter asymmetry in the universe. Furthermore, the upgraded collider could unveil new physics beyond the standard model, such as supersymmetry or extra dimensions. Looking beyond the current upgrades, CERN is planning the development of a next-generation collider, known as the Future Circular Collider, or FCC. The FCC represents an ambitious leap forward in particle physics, designed to push the boundaries of current research and address questions that the LHC might not fully resolve. The FCC is envisioned to be a circular collider with a circumference of up to 100 kilometers, significantly larger than the LHC's 27 kilometers. This increased size will allow it to achieve higher collision energies and explore new regions of particle physics. The FCC will have several components, including a proton-proton collider, an electron-positron collider, and potentially a high-energy hadron collider. The FCC will incorporate advanced technologies and engineering solutions to achieve its goals. These include new superconducting magnets capable of reaching unprecedented magnetic fields, innovative beam cooling techniques, and enhanced detector systems designed to cope with the higher collision rates and energies. The FCC aims to answer fundamental questions about the universe that are beyond the reach of the current LHC. It will probe the Higgs boson in greater detail, search for new particles, and explore theories such as supersymmetry, dark matter, and extra dimensions. The collider's increased energy and luminosity will provide a deeper understanding of the fundamental forces and particles that govern the universe. That's all the information that we have for you today. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed today's episode, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell so you never miss out on future episodes. And be sure to also tell us what you think about today's content. Everyone's support motivates us to continue delivering quality content and to always improve. As always, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.